All right, it's that time of year again where we talk about whiskey of the year.
Let's go.
Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are going to talk about our top 20 whiskey of the year.
Well, part one.
Part one.
So basically, what we like to do here, we like to take every bottle that we review, have drank, done some kind of blind on here. We put them all together and we try to figure out which ones we like and do a top 20. So today we're going to talk about 20 through 11. And then the next video that will come out here in a day or so will be 10 through
1.
1.
Yeah.
Really quick, we had 20, well, we thought we had 27 contenders at first.
Yeah.
And then we realized as we were somewhere in our 20th through 11, after we'd already eliminated some, that we kind of forgot 13th Colony.
Yeah.
So then we had to go back through and redo everything.
Yeah.
But we actually ended up having 28.
Unfortunately, you can't choose them all, so we are where we are.
That's true. Yeah, we're not going to do Fred Minnick and do a top 100 either.
No, definitely. No, definitely not.
No way.
I don't even know if there were 100 great bourbons and whiskeys this year.
I don't know. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it.
All right, you want
sponsorships?
Anyways.
All right, where how did we start this? Here?
Yeah, that would be our 20th.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure I was going down the list right.
Sorry. I set it up for you perfectly, and he's like, I think I'm going to pick 11.
Yeah, whatever. It's always. So, number 20 on our list is the Wild Turkey Voyage. It was good. I think when we did the blind, did it go last or second to last? I can't remember.
I think it was last.
Yeah,
I think Rare Breed was second to last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a good bottle. Honestly, I'm impressed that this finished one made the list because Zach's disdain for finished.
Look, I had no hopes. I had very low expectations for this, and it surpassed them.
Yeah,
great.
I agree with that. I think it did surpass. It was good though. So it's very, I think it's a good starting point at 20.
Yeah, and it to me, it's very off profile, very different than than literally everything else on the list. I'm looking at both these lists over here. So it's a really nice addition to it. It's not number one, but it is still
not number one.
Still really good.
Yeah,
all these are really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, number 19 on the old list is Sagamore 8-year rye. We like it. It was in our
awesome
new bourbons of the year.
Even though it's a rye.
Even though it's a rye, our new bourbon whiskey ryes, whatever of the year, whatever we want to say. But really enjoy Sagamore. I think this represents Sagamore really well, and I think Sagamore deserved to be in the top 20. They have come on in the last 2 years in a really good way to, I think, deserve a spot in the top 20 for what they produce.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's some of their. I don't know if to date this is the oldest stuff that they've came out with. I believe it is. I don't know if they have anything else older. They might have been single barrels that I just don't know of.
Yeah.
But being an age-shaded product that did quote unquote hit the masses.
Yeah.
It's fun. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So number 18 is Old Carter. I don't know if this probably really burns Zach up because of his love for Old Carter, but no top 20 would be complete without Old Carter in it. I think, honestly speaking, I think they just do such they really do quality stuff.
I think I recall somebody saying there's no way this would be in our end of the year.
It probably was me.
And then somebody was really happy with it during Advent.
I was happy with it during Advent.
And then whenever we were sitting here trying stuff, we were sitting here and we were drinking, comparing stuff or whatever. And I'm like, see, told you it's good.
It deserves to be in the top 20.
I agree.
Sure. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. Number 17, which I was kind of surprised at, but as we started to go through the list, I think it's in a good place.
I thought this would be like between 10 and 12, so this actually did a little bit less for me.
Yeah, I think honestly speaking, as I look through the history of this year and go, thinking through bottles, I thought this would be higher too.
Mm-hmm.
But once we compiled all the lists, all the bottles out here, I think this is in a good place.
Yeah, and going back to whenever we did like our blind too, this does get a little weird. Like this, there's a little bit of like a weird nuttiness to it, like that wild turkey nuttiness that kind of still pops to me. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because after I got sick and palate's still not 1,000% or whatever. But I was surprised a little bit that this knew better. But say the least, still really good.
Yeah, this, I think it just goes to show that batch one of this is still like the king of that bat of the batches.
Wait, which number is that? Is that 16?
That was 17.
17?
Yeah, that was 17. This is 16.
16.
Kelvin 5. We really like this. And if you know anything about our reviews and what our end of the year last year was, Kelvin 4 was in our top 5, wasn't it? It was either top. It was close. If it wasn't top 5, it was really close.
Yeah, that's
I'd have to go back to remember. But
I think it.
Forgate has just done a really good job with these Kelvin, the Kelvin collaborations, and this one is no different. Just not quite as good as Kelvin 4, but it's good in its own right. And so,
in my
16,
in my mind, there was like this jump. So you had 16 through 20, and like that was the section, and then the Kelvin hit this start of like another set of quality of whiskey. And like I said, we can talk about Forgate all we want. They know what they're doing with the Kelvin collection. They do an excellent job with all the Kelvins, and
they really do.
It's just, again, they're doing great stuff.
Yeah, they do great stuff. The one on the list for me that I don't know that I would have put this in my top 20, but Zach fought kind of for it to be in the top 20, is the Jack Daniel's 12. There is just an overwhelming nuttiness to this that I don't love, and because of that, like, I just didn't have it totally. This could have not been on the list, and I'd have been okay with it. There's probably a couple honorable mentions that I would have probably rather have in this spot, but that's okay.
Yeah. So before we start,
I fought for twice barreled single malt, so everybody has to fight for something at any given time.
Yeah, at least I fight for something that's good. But going back to this, I will say, after we were trying it and drinking on it, some of that char, some of that chocolate that we loved, and that I loved the first time I had it, has went away with some airtime. So I do agree with that. This would actually be higher for me if it wasn't for Dave. I don't think it would have made my top 10, but it would have been pretty close.
Yeah.
But regardless, this is still in my opinion, this has me super excited, because if they keep doing releases like this, where I think they're going to do a 15-year coming out. Yeah. If they can keep adding on, just growing, because like 10 this year was fine, but if they just keep growing and doing better, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's fine. Elijah Craig, E.H. Taylor, barrel proof.
It's been a long night, folks.
It has been a long night. It is what it is. This is batch 12, correct? Am I right?
Yep.
Batch 12. This is one of those ones for me, is like when we tasted it, I liked it a lot.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
And I think I liked it a lot in comparison to what 11 was. Because 11 was, I hesitate to say the word trash.
It was.
But it was close to trash.
I don't know what bottle we got, but I know the bottles that we've tried of batch 11 here locally was not great.
Yeah, none of them have been good.
And I don't know what these whiskey competitions got that made it so good, but they had to get something different.
Yeah, they had to. But this is good. And historically speaking, this should be a top 20 bottle every year, because it is generally a quality bottle every year.
Yeah.
11 has been the lone outlier for us, which it didn't make our top 20 at all because it was just not good.
Well, we didn't own it.
Oh, and we didn't own it.
Yeah,
but we tried it and we didn't like it anyway.
So, and here's the other thing. I thought, honestly, whenever I was trying this, I thought this would be kind of a slam dunk top 10.
I did too, actually.
And then, like, just doing, like, in-home blinds, like, before we ever did this not only didn't win a blind, it got blown out by all of these top contenders.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at the top 10 list, and there was 2 of them that didn't go get this. I'm pretty confident would still, like, those bottles would still beat it.
Yeah, I think.
But it doesn't blind well. Like, it doesn't, whenever you're comparing stuff, it just doesn't do well.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's good in its own right.
No,
just
it's awesome.
maybe
It's
not against
awesome in
the
its own
other
right.
things on the list. So,
For sure.
it is kind of what it is.
13.
This is 13.
Oh,
this
lucky
is
13.
the Parker's 10-year rye.
It's hurt my soul a little bit.
I honestly thought it would be better too, but it wasn't. I mean, just kind of. I hate to say that, it just wasn't. And we tried it. I tried it against a lot of things, and just every single time I tried it against something else, it just didn't make the cut, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, again, being 13th out of the bourbons this year is not a bad place to be. I think I had higher expectations for it.
Mm-hmm. Rye whiskey of the year. First off,
for sure.
I don't care what my boy Dan says. It's the best rye whiskey we've had all year. I'm a little saddened because I thought this would be top 10. I love it. It's incredible. I absolutely adore it. I have backups upon backups of it because of how much I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
With that being said, you're right. It is 13.
Yeah.
I mean, and it did lose to some pretty good bottles.
Oh, gosh, yeah, it did. This one might be the one that pains me maybe the most out of this whole list.
I kind of agree too.
Is the Kelvin 60. I really love this bottle. And the fact that I love it so much and it only came in at 12 really surprised me. I thought for sure we would have 2 years in a row where a Kelvin made it to the top, at least to the top 10.
Yeah, I agree.
And it didn't. But again, same thing with the Parkers. Like, it with everything else that's there, it just didn't, for us, it just didn't measure up. And because of that, we just kind of had to leave it out of the top 10. Just chomping at the bit at the top 10 and just couldn't quite make it.
Well, I feel like, again, we got to like the top 12 and we were stuck. So I feel like kind of after like the Taylor and the Parkers, we were like, okay, we know this section over here is done. Now we got to get it down to 10.
Yeah.
And we were really stuck. And then we were like, well, crap, now what are we going to do? And then we realized that we forgot 13th colony. So then we had to backtrack and we were like, crap.
So then we had to maneuver everything out of the way.
And we had to like redo stuff and everything else. And this was really hard because I agree with you. I thought this would be in the top 10 for sure, to be honest with you.
I did too.
So, but again, Forgate, you had 2 on the list this year, dude.
Yeah, 2 on the list.
You're doing fantastic.
Number 11 for us is Stag 22A.
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 Heck of a year for Stags.
Heck of a year for Stags. This was the creme de la creme, the soup du jour, all the things above. This was the best one. And even in it being the best Stag there was, it still missed.
Just barely.
Missed the top 10.
Barely missed the top 10.
And truthfully, like when you see the
painful.
next video, I could have moved this from 11 to 10. I could have done that. I wouldn't have been upset about it, but I felt like 10 deserved to be in there.
For sure.
Just for a couple of reasons, but it deserved to be in there.
Overall, it was a heck of a year for Stag, even with them having one bad one.
Yeah.
They still had 3 really great ones. We only put one on the list, so that way we just didn't flood the list with Stags.
Yeah.
But overall, great year for it.
Yeah.
Also, now that I'm looking at it, highest rated Buffalo Trace product we have on the list. Number 11.
It is.
Don't call us taters.
Don't call us taters. We're not taters.
Kidding.
All in all, that is 20 to 11. Tell us what's on your whiskey of the year list. We'd love to hear it. Hit the like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Let us know what's going on in your bourbon world. We'd love to hear it. And until the next time,
We'll see you.
We'll see you.